Hello, everyone, and welcome back, not only for our last nugget of the week, but for the last nugget for this quarter. Now, I don't know about you, but what a quarter this has been. First, we learned that not only is God determined to save us, but that his great desire is to reproduce in us his character of love. And as such, God will use any means or opportunity to do so, including the times we experience pain and suffering. I mean, let's be clear. God is not the author of pain and suffering. He is, however, a master at using our pain and suffering as an opportunity to grow us. I mean, early on, we learned that God is our shepherd who leads us to paths that result in righteousness and restoration. But along the way, we may have to go through the valley of the shadow of death, a place that God neither created nor dwells in. Nor is it a place where we stay, but rather a place we pass through. And as we do, we learn that God is indeed a good shepherd. We also ask the question, is God for us or is he against us? Especially when it seems that God has led us to a place that promises to meet our greatest need, only to encounter a bitter disappointment. Or what do we do when it seems as if God has led us to a place of temptation, or how about a place of persecution or pain or suffering? Why would God, a good God, lead his people to such a place? And what we discover time and again is that these are the places where the greatest miracles can take place, places that are designed to grow our faith. This quarter, we took a look into the life of Job, who more than most people felt the fire of pain and suffering. First, he loses his flocks, then his children, his reputation, and his health. And yet through it all, Job was determined to endure. And we have to ask, how was it that Job was able to say, even if God kills me, I will trust him? And what we learned is that Job had put his faith in God because of what he knew to be true about God. And in the end, Job's character is like solid gold. But maybe the greatest encouragement of all in this quarter's lesson is found in the suffering of Christ himself. Jesus, who was loved and adored in heaven, was rejected and despised while on earth. He who knew no sin was immersed in a world of sin. Jesus, who never committed a single sin, not only carried our sin, but was crushed by the weight of our sin and of the sin of the entire world, past, present, and future. Jesus, whose hands only communicated love, healing, and acceptance, was beaten and abused by human hands. The head that wore a crown now wore thorns. And he who hung our earth in space now hung on a cross. And why would he endure all of this pain and suffering? Not only because he was determined to save us, but because he wanted us to know that there was nothing we could do to him to cause him to stop loving us. And where was God the Father in all of this? Well, he too was invested in our salvation, that he was in Christ reconciling us to himself, that as an inseparable Trinity, God the Father felt every slap, every stroke of the whip, and every pounding of the hammer. He felt the weight of the world as it rested on his Son. God did not abandon Jesus when he needed his Father the most, but the Father was there, suffering along with the Son. Because the Father not only loved his Son, but because God so loved the world. And as we look at the cross of Christ, we see in him a love that is so precious, it's as pure as gold. Well, that was our lesson for this quarter. Thank you for joining us, and we would love to have you come back and join us for next quarter's lesson as we talk about life everlasting.